Eric Grenier is CBC's poll analyst and founder of 308.com, and he joins me now from Ottawa. So Eric, generally speaking, remind us again about why there's so much focus on Ontario.
Well, Ontario, like you said, has the largest number of seats of all the provinces, but it also has the largest number of swing seats. And these are seats that could be won by either the Liberals or the Conservatives based on where they stand in the polls right now. And a lot of those seats are in the GTA, and it will be very significant. Whoever can win those very close ridings will have a very good shot at forming government.
All right, well, let's focus on the GTA then. And first, let's focus on the area outside of the 416, the telephone code that is the city of Toronto, into the Bramptons and the Mississaugas and other places like that. What are you seeing?
Well, these are the regions that the Conservatives won in 2011, and it's one of the regions that delivered them a majority government. Now we're looking at a race that is much closer between the Liberals and the Conservatives, with a lot of seats that the Liberals could be taking from the Tories. A lot of new seats were created in this area, and so there's even more seats up for grabs than there was in 2011. The New Democrats earlier on in the campaign were in the running, particularly in and around Brampton, some three-way races there. It might be a bit more challenging now that they've dropped a little bit in Ontario, so we're still looking at a lot of close ridings, but primarily between the Liberals and the Conservatives.
All right, now let's focus on downtown Toronto. We saw Justin Trudeau. He was in the Beaches area of Toronto. That's an NDP riding right now. So is that what seems to be the focus, that the Liberals could actually snag away a couple of NDP seats in Toronto?
Well, the Liberals are doing very well in the polls in Toronto, and it's a city that they used to win virtually every single seat. So they're looking to repeat that sort of outcome, which means that they would have to defeat a lot of Conservatives as well, particularly those in the inner suburbs, which includes Joe Oliver's seat. He's in Toronto. But then a lot of the seats are also New Democrat and Toronto battles, Liberal battles, sorry, in the old city of Toronto. And that's what we're seeing here, where the Liberals are now going after seats that they might not have bothered with a month ago when the New Democrats were a bit more competitive in Ontario. So we're seeing a little bit of a shifting in strategy of the parties as they shift in the voting intentions as well.
Now, much of southwest Ontario is a three-way race. So let's talk about that. What's the impact of winning those seats?
Well, the southwestern part of the province is one where the Conservatives did very well in 2011, and they do have a very good chance of retaining virtually all of the rural seats. So it's really the urban seats. So we're talking about Kitchener, London. Those seats look to be very hotly contested, and that's a region of Ontario where the New Democrats can make some gains. The provincial NDP did very well in that part of the province in 2014, so the federal NDP is looking to repeat that kind of success. But with the movement we've been seeing in the province, it does give the Liberals a bit more chance to take some of those urban ridings. So for the Conservatives, they're playing defense in that area. Both the NDP and the Liberals would like to make some gains.
All right, the magic number is 170 in order to win a majority. At this point, does any party have a chance to get to that magic number?
Well, there's still enough time left in the campaign for someone to continue to make some gains throughout the last week in order to get themselves into position to win a majority. But based on where they are now, no one is really in that spot. At this time in 2011, the Conservatives had a much wider lead in the polls, and no one was really talking about a majority government at that point. So now that we're seeing this close race between the Liberals and the Conservatives, majority government, of course, still possible, but not in the cards right now.
All right, and you're predicting right now that it would be the Liberals would win the most seats.
Based on where the numbers are now, but they might be looking very different in a few days.
Yeah, and final question to you. What do you think the high voter turnout over the Thanksgiving weekend, what does that mean?
Well, it's difficult to know because we have seen in a lot of campaigns recently, or a lot of elections, where advanced polling has been a lot higher. I think that there is just a movement of people looking to get it out of the way. But if it does suggest that there'll be higher turnout on Election Day next Monday, that is generally not good news for an incumbent government when there's an enthusiasm for people to go out and vote.
Eric, always good to speak with you. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
That was CBC poll analyst Eric Grenier joining me from Ottawa.